Loving you forever was a lie, a story of love, betrayal, and the truth that shattered a girl's world. Layla sat by the tall window of the luxurious mansion, her knees drawn to her chest. Gazing out at the endless garden, roses bloomed in a perfect line. Trimmed hedges formed symmetrical shapes, and the wind whispered peace, but inside her, everything was chaos. She had lived in this house for 6 years now, yet it had never felt like home. It was just another golden cage. She was 10 when her parents died in a car crash, or so she was told. That night was a blur. But she remembered her mother's trembling voice on the phone, her father shouting, the rain hammering the windshield, and then nothing. When she woke up, her world had changed. The Adebayo family took her in. Wealthy, influential, and dressed in silk even at breakfast. They claimed her parents had been close friends. The patriarch, Mr. Adebayo, told her she would be treated like their own daughter. At first, it seemed like a blessing. She was given a room bigger than the entire house she'd once lived in. She had tutors, fine clothes, and a school that cost more than her father made in a year. Yet the love was hollow, smiles were thin, and affection came with strings. Mrs. Adebayo barely acknowledged her. Their only child, Zara, treated Layla like a stray dog who got lucky. Layla felt it too, the whispers behind her back, the pity in the servants' eyes, and the way Zara's friends asked, "Is she the charity case?" Still, she endured. She worked hard, stayed quiet, and told herself this was what her parents would have wanted. That this life, cold as it felt, was a second chance. Until she found the letter. It was buried in an old box in the attic, hidden among dusty books and forgotten keepsakes. A letter in her mother's handwriting, shaky. Afraid if anything happens to us, it won't be an accident. Don't trust them. They want everything. They smiled to our faces, but they lied. And now we might pay the price. Layla read it again and again, her heart pounding. Her parents hadn't died by chance. The Adebayos, her saviors, had something to do with it. She began to dig, quietly, carefully. She found bank statements, land titles, proof that her parents had owned something valuable, an estate, rich with oil reserves, which conveniently transferred to the Adebayo name after their death. Layla's name had been removed from the papers. It had been forged. The truth was a blade. They hadn't taken her in out of love or loyalty, they took her in to keep her. Quiet.to keep the secret. Buried, they raised her like a pet, not a child. Her forever with them was built on blood and lies. Layla no longer cried that night. She packed her things, what little was truly hers, and walked out of the golden prison. She had nothing but her mother's letter and the fire of truth in her heart. The world outside was hard. She slept in shelters, worked odd jobs, and took evening classes. But Layla was strong, sharper than pain, and driven by justice. She found a lawyer, exposed the fraud, and fought for what was hers, not just the land, but the truth of her parents' names. Years later, when she stood before cameras, reclaiming her family's legacy, the world saw a fierce, fearless woman. But inside, she was still the girl who had learned that not all love is love. Not all kindness is kind, and not all promises are true. Because in her world, forever was a lie. Later on she found love. A man who loves her unconditional, and they are happily ever after.